I've been having lots of conversations recently with leaders, with salespeople, with teams that have fallen out of love with virtual meetings. Let's face it, we've all got to that point where we might be dreading clicking join on Zoom and Teams. And the reasons for that are manifold, but ultimately these things are here to stay. Even with the return to work and people coming back into the office on a much more regular basis now, we are still going to be having virtual meetings. We may even be going into the office to jump on Zoom and Teams to speak to someone who's not in the office. So this is here to stay, and if we're going to be effective in the way that we communicate, if we're going to engage our audience, take them on that journey with us, then there's a few things that we should be thinking about. The first is make them scarce. Do you really need to be on Zoom and Teams all the time? Would a phone call do? I'm finding that phone calls are a great way to engage people. They're something different. People are more receptive sometimes to just having the audio rather than the visual as well. But what else could you do? Could you send someone a voice memo? Could you create a little video? How can we get away from virtual meetings being the default? So number one, make them scarce. Number two, make them small. Does everyone need to be there? We don't want to be dragging people into virtual meetings just for the sake of it. We need to be a lot more thoughtful about who we put onto that invite list and make sure that the only people that are there are the people that really need to be there. And that leads nicely into idea number three, which is make them strategic. If you're going to harness the power of a Zoom or a Teams call, if you're going to get everyone on board and get everyone in that same space, then make sure that the outcome that you're looking for is absolutely crystal clear. It's not we're just here for a chat or to discuss things through. What are we actually looking to achieve? And get used to framing that right at the beginning of the call so that people know where they're going. That's going to make things a lot more effective. Number four, and this might feel a little bit draconian, but I would suggest you make them strict. That actually you set up some clear rules. I've still got people saying to me, how do I get people to turn their cameras on? Ask them. And to a certain extent, depending on the type of meeting, mandate it. Good morning, everyone. Great to have you here. I really need the cameras on for this call. If you can't do that for any reason, please send me a private message because I want to make sure that we're all focused and that we get the outcome that we're looking to achieve. It's really, really important to set that frame. Talk about how you want people to interact. Talk about the fact that if we are focused for the next 15 minutes, then we should be able to get off and get on with the rest of our day. But make sure that you make those rules explicit. Don't expect your audience just to be able to mind read. And then number five, the final little point that I want to make here, make them short. I really believe that making anything more than sort of 45 minutes in terms of a virtual meeting is really pushing it and potentially pushing us into the danger zone. So try and keep things under that hour mark if you can. I would suggest taking those half-hour meetings and thinking about them as being 20 minutes in a virtual world, taking those hour-long meetings and thinking about them being 45, 50 minutes tops. If you do have to go past that length, then make sure that you have a proper break in the middle. And by proper break, I mean at least 10 minutes. But ideally, think of the Netflix model. Try and create a series of interventions so that you drip feed ideas, you keep things nice and focused, everything has that clear beginning, middle and end, and maybe you tease up what's coming next when you get together down the camera for the next virtual meeting. So I hope you find those useful. We've got scarce, we've got small, we've got strategic, we've got strict, and we've got short. 5 things that are going to help you fall back in love with virtual meetings.